Today, we're going to get a chance to do a little bit of work where we're thinking about numbers and data, and we're really going to be trying to make sense of those numbers. So, I'm going to do a little bit of a read aloud and ask you some questions as we go. Make sure to respond to those. And then afterwards, you're going to then be looking at some numbers and some data that's in within this book and using that to kind of look for patterns in a CAMI document or Google Docs. Okay. So it's called Seeing the World Through Numbers by Andrew Falk. When you see a number, it can just look like lines on a page. 128, 128. As you start to learn where different numbers come from and what they mean, they can help you learn more about the world. What do you think this number says about the world? It says Liz 128 centimeters. What do you think that means? Well, here I might think to myself that it looks like I see centimeters. I know centimeters used for distance. And here I can look over and see that they look like they're doing some sort of measuring. So maybe that is her height. Okay. 128 could be any number of things. Could be the distance, could be how many steps she walked, could be how far she went. In this case, that's what I would guess it would be. We'd have to maybe get a little bit more information to find out. Sometimes you see a number by itself. That can tell you about one thing in the world. When numbers are put together, like in this line plot, they can tell you about patterns in the world. So here on the right-hand side, I see kids and I see what looks like a teacher. It says height of Mr. Vu's third grade class in centimeters. Look at all these numbers here, and then I have these over here. If I zoom in just a hair, right, moving over, what do you think these numbers say about the world on the left-hand side? And what about this one over here? What is that? What do you think this whole plot of numbers is? Maybe who is number 170? Can I tell anything over here? What do you think? If it were me, I'm probably thinking to myself that perhaps in here that most of these are the kids over here. That they're most of them are in that 128 centimeters. And then over here, I've got Mr. Vu, and he is 170 centimeters because he looks like he's taller than all of them. They all look about the same height. Even those in the back, they're not really standing bigger. It's just the perspective of it. So he looks like he's a little bit taller. Okay. All right. Numbers can help us learn about things we can see. They can also help us learn about things we can feel. What do you think this number helps us learn about the world? So if you see this right here, this 80F, what does that mean to you? How would that help you learn about the world? For me, I might think to myself, 80 degrees. When I see that, I go, that's pretty hot. So I'm going to probably want to wear shorts or maybe a t-shirt, something like that. Kind of like this gentleman is over here or like he is over here, right? So 80 degrees, right? The degrees F, the unit that's there, helps me know quite a bit about what's happening. What do you think the numbers in this line plot help us learn about the world? Do you notice a pattern? Do you notice a pattern in here? Do you notice anything as we're talking about the May daily high temperatures? So the highest temperature in the day for all of the days in May where this kid lives. And there's one time he's pouring water on himself. What does that tell us? If I look for a pattern, I might find, that it doesn't go any cooler than 77 degrees. So it's usually in this range of 77 to 85, and I could even get a little bit more narrow and think it's maybe somewhere between 79 and 83. Usually, got a couple days below and a couple days above, but most of them are in that middle range here. Okay. It tells us also how hot it is. It's pretty hot there, hotter than it is here. You can record the temperature every day for a month. If you make a line plot of all the temperatures, you can see the hottest and coldest temperatures, plus everything in between. That's the range of temperatures for the month. You find the range by find or the range. That's the range for temperatures of the month. You find the range by finding the highest number and the lowest number in a group of numbers. So in this one here, the range is 77 to 85. We know it doesn't go any higher or any lower. Could it one day? Yeah, but did it? It did not. The temperature changed from day to day in May. Even so, the temperature stayed within a particular range, from 77 degrees Fahrenheit to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. It was very warm every day in May. There were no cold days. Sometimes patterns in numbers can help us predict what the world will be like in the future. What if there were still one more day in May? What would you predict the weather would be the weather on that day? What do you think the temperature would be if you added another day here? What do you think the temperature might be? You might very reasonably think that it's probably 80 or 81 or 82, somewhere one of these three, because those are the three most, they have the highest numbers. So I would guess it'd be one of those. Probably not going to be 77, probably not going to be 85. Okay. But I know it's going to be in this range. You can predict that it would probably be between 77 and 85. It would probably be in that same range. Here it says different places have many different weather patterns. Let's say your cousin makes her own line plot of temperatures for the month of May. Your cousin lives far away. This line plot shows the temperatures in the place where your cousin lives. What do you notice about the numbers in her line plot? I can also look over here and look at what she is wearing. What do you notice? You might notice in here that the range is from 65 to 73, so it's definitely not in that 77 to 85 range. It's on the other end of our line plot. Here, I'm finding that it's cooler than it is in my other one. And finally, here's what you're going to be working on today. It says when you look at both line plots together, what do they tell you about the May weather in these places? Which place would you go if you wanted to be warmer in May? Would you go to the boy's place or would you rather go where the cousin lives? Now that you're done for the day with this science assignment, the next science page is going to be involving looking at this data here and looking for patterns. And you're going to write that down in a Google Doc, writing about what you see for the boys area and the place where the cousin lives and what it is when you compare the two sets of data.